Hello everyone, how are you all? I'm Devottam and you are listening to Better You, Better Life, a self improvement plan podcast, season 1, episode 32. Continuing with my 7 episode series on climate change, in this section we will learn a bit about the impact of it on water bodies. That is, how climate change is affecting our water bodies like river, ocean, ponds, reservoir, thereby which is very much critical for our survival. Starting with today's episode, we have to acknowledge the fact that Earth's climate continues to evolve positively or not so positively. The consequences of rising sea levels loom as a significant threat, particularly for coastal communities, that is, the people or the communities who are living nearby sea areas. They are the most vulnerable population around the world right now. Let's break it down. The combination of melting ice caps that is big, huge pieces of icebergs in present in the polar regions like the Arctic and Antarctic, and thermal expansion of seawater contributes to this alarming phenomena. Let us observe the consequences of rising sea levels, exploring the risks faced by coastal communities that include increased flooding, erosion, and the painfully potential displacement of populations. If we try to understand these challenges, that is essential for implementing effective adaptation measures to protect our vulnerable coastal regions. The first aspect we discuss here is melting ice caps and thermal expansion of polar regions. One of the primary drivers of rising sea levels is the melting of polar ice caps, or in common language we can say glaciers. With this rising temperature at global level, this massive ice formation, that is icebergs or polar ice caps which we say, they experiencing accelerated rate of melting ice. Thereby they are releasing vast quantities of solid ice converted into liquid water into the ocean, which is overall increasing the liquid water at the global level. Additionally, as the ocean absorbs more heat from a warming atmosphere, seawater expands due to thermal expansion, further contributing to the rise in sea levels. The combination of these processes presents a significant challenge for coastal regions worldwide. Another aspect that I would like to shed some light is that rate of increased flooding and erosion. Rising sea levels increases the risk of coastal flooding. That is, as all of us know, that how tsunami in 2016 in Japan, in the coastal areas of India, Andaman and Nicobar Islands, how the devastation it has caused because of rising sea levels, particularly during storms and high tides. As the sea encroaches further inside the land surface, low-lying areas or coastal plains become more vulnerable to inundation. You can see, let's take a small example of our neighbor country, Bangladesh. The one-fourth area of Bangladesh is always flooded because they are the worst country to be suffering from the effects of climate change, and the prime reason for this is the rising seawater levels. Bangladesh is a waterlogged country, and anything happens globally, most of its communities are dependent on the livelihood of fishing, and they mostly reside in the areas nearer to water surfaces. But because of this increased flooding, all those land surfaces are getting covered, and it is also affecting their survivability allowing them in the forceful eviction or displaced to some nearby higher areas. So let us accept that flooding has also become a part of our daily lifestyle. The consequences are severe and with increased damage to infrastructure, homes, and essential facilities. Another aspect which I like to share is that saltwater intrusion, that arrival of seawater into freshwater sources like river, ponds, or the groundwater which we normally use for our daily household purposes or drinking per se, they can harm the ecosystem and compromise the access to clean water for communities. This will fetch more money, more investment, and more technology which could otherwise be spent for something more productive. Moreover, coastal erosion, which is intensifying as higher water levels take away all the shorelines, leading to the loss of sea beaches, wetlands, and protective dunes. My heart really pains to see the gradual vanishing of mangroves, which are so crucial for this marine ecosystem. This erosion not only affects the aesthetic appeal of coastal areas but also compromises their ability to act as a natural buffers against storm surges. I will give you a very beautiful example of wetlands. If you ever happen to visit the town of Calcutta, city of Calcutta in the West Bengal state of India, you will see Calcutta city receives lots of rainfall throughout the year but it never gets flooded. That is because adjacent to the city there is lot of wetlands. So what happens? The excess rainfall water they siphons into those wetlands, which also proves as a savior for the city people from prevented from flooding. At the same time, it is also a beautiful world for the aquatic ecosystem where fishing is done and all those waters are stored there, which is also a very good beautiful natural phenomena. This erosion not only helps you in also it has its own course of protecting communities. Displacement of populations. This is serious implication that the world is witnessing today. Particularly, let's go to the African or sub-Saharan African countries where war is happening, where water is considered to be a very precious commodity among masses. As the impact of sea levels rises beyond immediate infrastructure damage, the coastal regions become increasingly not suitable for living. Communities also face the daunting prospect of displacement. If there is no land to stay for them, then they have to move on to other places which will then be encroached by other people. That will also help in some social imbalance or some law and order problem among communities, which will become a source of another conflict at global level. You can also easily understand that homes, businesses, and entire communities may need to be relocated. So how much money we have to spend from government point of view, uprooting lives and disrupting social and cultural ties. These have a very serious impact on the demographic composition of a particular area. This potential mass migration poses significant economic, social, and psychological challenges for affected populations, highlighting the urgency of developing strategies to mitigate the risks associated with rising sea levels. Now, what is the solution for this? Of course, we have to implement effective adaptation measures as an individual, as a corporation, as a government, as an authority. Addressing the challenges posed by rising sea levels requires a multifaceted approach. It has to be democratic. Coastal communities must prioritize adaptation measures to enhance their resilience and minimize the impacts of sea level rise. Also, authorities have to join in the natural restoration process. These Measures include the construction of protective infrastructure such as seawalls, then construction of dikes or flood barriers. Additionally, the restoration and preservation of natural coastal ecosystems like mangroves, salt marshes, or coral reefs can provide vital protection against erosion and storm surges. Furthermore, we also have to focus on land use planning, how we will be utilizing the land, how much land should come under agriculture, how much land should come under fallow, how much land should be come under development of real estate projects, and policies also have to be considered for long-term implications of rising sea levels to avoid further development in vulnerable areas. See, this brunt of climate change represented by the rising sea levels resulting from melting ice caps and thermal expansion presents a formidable challenge to coastal areas worldwide. Increasing flooding, erosion, and the potential displacement of populations are among the alarming rate of consequences. So let us try to understand and addressing these risks are very important for implementing effective adaptation measures. So my dear friends, by investing your understanding in sustainable coastal management, protective infrastructure, and preservation of natural ecosystems, we can also minimize the impact of rising sea levels and safeguard the well-being of vulnerable coastal regions. The time to act is now as we strive to build resilient communities that can thrive in the face of a changing tide. I hope this aspect was helpful for you. For the next episode, we will touch another topic or skill related to improving better version of ourselves from climate change point of view. Thank you for listening to our podcast. Until we meet next time, enjoy your weekend. Signing off.